Do Indian customers prefer local brands? India has become an international car market, but at the cost of indigenous players like Tech Mahindra, who are shrinking fast as customers shift preferences to global products. In times of going vocal for local, we'll analyze if the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic scenario will change the equation in favor of local auto brands, or shall the global biggies continue with their dominance of the Indian car market? To shed more light on the subject, we're joined by C.P. Gurnani, CEO, Tech Mahindra.
Hello and welcome to the Global Town Hall Virtual Summit by the Economic Times Business Verticals. We have Mr. C.P. Gurnani, Chief Executive Officer of Tech Mahindra, and he's going to talk about digital transformation in India and how India and Indian enterprises can benefit from digital transformation and technologies, especially in these challenging times. So let's start this fireside chat with Mr. Gurnani.
Thank you, Danish, and thank you for having me with you.
Right, sir. So, sir, I would like to start this conversation by asking about your views on digital transformation and how it can help restart and revive the world economy. You are seeing a lot of companies, you work with a lot of companies, and do you see the immediate need of digital transformation in the current setup, current scenario?
Danish, digital transformation is one word. I think it should become a religion for every individual, every business, whether you are a small business or a big business. It should also be an endeavor of every government. I still remember this meeting that I had with the Indian IT and Telecom Minister, Shri Prasad. And when we speak to Mr. R.S. Prasad, he was very excited about the role of Indian IT and technology sector, particularly in the $5 trillion economy. And I still remember this discussion with Honorable Cabinet Minister. And I said, sir, digital transformation is not a new endeavor by any government or any business. Unless we bring down the digital into a core of every individual, we are not going to become truly digital. And true to his word, I mean, he wanted to focus on the last mile issues because the digital without connectivity is incomplete. And I am very, very clear that most of us have to take into account multiple dimensions. The first dimension is not just discussing smart city. Are we creating new value? Is the business model digital at the core? Number three, is the operating model now changing to become intelligent? Number four, does it take into account localized and resilient supply chains? Are we able to take a decision in real time? Are the necessities, whether it is traffic management, drought management, flood management, is it being driven by a data-driven, or is it building up a talent which is superior to anyone else in the world? As long as we remember the various dimensions, and the first dimension is the individual itself, I think India will do very, very well and will have an important place in the $5 trillion economy.
Sure, sir. How do you see, sir, this whole digital transformation journey? You said that it's not new, but have you seen some sort of acceleration by the companies and enterprises, especially after the pandemic and as we go through the lockdown situation in states, we continue to work from home? Do you see an acceleration in the way businesses do their business or conduct their operations?
Danish, small business constitute about 40 to 60% of Indian national economy. Now, question for all of us is that I know that a steamer vaporizer manufacturer in Delhi would sell on Amazon He will produce his product at 250 rupees and sell it happily on Amazon at 400 rupees. Similarly, we all saw a new industry come up, which was the face mask. I mean, you have to go into one of these digital marketplaces and you know India can be a beater of Alibaba any day. There are face masks being produced at 10 rupees and there are face masks being produced which are digital enabled. I mean, I was actually out of curiosity, I searched one night. There are Bluetooth enabled denim face masks available for less than 300 rupees. And I'm like curious to myself, who are these manufacturers? So I called up anybody who had listed. I mean, face mask is not my business, but I went into it. And everywhere it became very, very clear is that these are small town business houses. We all saw that face mask where Madhubani printing was being done in Bihar, and he advertised it for 50 rupees. The person, he did not advertise it. Somebody put it on a social media. And there was a massive demand that was created on this individual. So my submission is, when you see it happening right in front of you, when you start looking at your auto rickshaw driver now being connected on some shared service, when your courier, it doesn't matter if he is the smallest courier in the world, when he starts giving you a tracking number, you know we are becoming a digital society. And I cannot hesitate but say there are many, many bad things about COVID-19, but the only good thing that has happened is COVID-19 has made India truly digital.
Right, sir. So digital transformation is all about upskilling people as well, as you introduce newer technologies like automation, artificial intelligence, machine learning. So do you think that there is an immediate need to work on that particular area wherein we need to upskill our workforce in the country to support this whole digital journey vision?
We all have this dream, and it's a prime minister who inspires those dreams in some of us. For example, this Atmanirbhar Bharat. Now, I can only think about an Atmanirbhar Bharat and start visualizing how much is of our imports are technology. Do we need to import technology from abroad? Do we need to import furniture from abroad? Do we need to import coal from abroad? And why am I using Atmanirbhar Bharat and training in the same breath? You know, just as a beautiful butterfly comes into a life through its transformation cycle, from being an egg to a blooming into a brilliant creature, the reality is Atmanirbhar is that beautiful creature, which is what is the dream. A dream of India having its own 5G technology, a dream of India not manufacturing a phone, but actually designing and producing a phone every part, whether it is a chipset or whether it's an operating system. And that dream can only happen when our people are skilled and our people are willing to dream. The technology can be the differentiator for the individual. Technology can create solutions for Atmanirbhar Bharat, and India, on one end, as a government, needs to provide the digital infrastructure. And I believe digital is equal to education and education is equal to infrastructure. All three have to work together. So I don't think there is even a doubt in my mind. And that's where you saw this announcement of Mahendra University. I mean, it was all about academia, industry, and the future world, all three coming together to create the new digital India.
Sure, sir. You also mentioned about Atmanirbhar in terms of 5G technology and handsets. What role do you see 5G playing when it comes to transforming enterprises, making them digital? What is your view on that?
You and I are today talking. The reality is that the most of the India continued to function is because the technologies coming to our homes were little superior than they used to be in the past. The reality is when you really see last 6 months and your consumption patterns, it is always about what was consumed inside the house. Go ahead, think about it. It is the energy utilities, it is that data and the media and entertainment, it is about essential goods, and it was all about being digitally connected. So I strongly believe that 5G, now assume 5G was available. Now assume 5G was available in enterprises. Now assume 5G is available to that farmer. We have done everything, but we still haven't connected farmer to the consumer direct. We have done so much in the world, in particularly the digital world, Danish, we still haven't connected that Nasik farmer of grapes. We have never value added to make him grow kishmish and supply it to a wholesaler in the Khari Bauli of Delhi, because that person probably is selling his produce at 50 rupees a kg, Khari Bauli maybe at 400 rupees a kg. Somewhere, if it was a digital marketplace, if it was a 5G world, I think we would be working towards a much faster acceleration and penetration of the economy. We have all seen the world of fast technology, that a Moderna produced a vaccine because the automation and compute was available in such a short time. I mean, I do know that there was a stimulus package given to them, but I believe if the world has to evolve, they would need compute, connectivity, and use cases. And we, because we were good in IT, we can give use cases. If we can give connectivity and compute, we are able to complete the equation.
Sure, sir. Sir, you talked about technology at length. Which are those key reforms that we still need in the country to achieve this Atmanirbhar Bharat vision or the digital society? Do you have some suggestions so that we can know that which are the gaps we need to fill?
Many. Let's start with our import bills. We import, our maximum import is oil. Now, think of micro services, micro electricity generation at every village. That means that's the same gobar gas, same waste to energy, same solar power system. If we can all make it into microgrid as a service, we won't be dependent on oil as much as we depend today. Look at your second largest imports, electronics. I mean, do we need to import from a Korea or a Japan or a China? What is it that we cannot produce? If India can produce the most sophisticated cars in the world, I mean, the reality is that Maruti is 100% designed and built in India. It may have a Suzuki as an initial collaborator. It may have a Suzuki as a major stakeholder. But let's not forget, everything is now made in India. As a matter of fact, Suzuki is more Indian company than it is a Japanese company. I mean, Scorpio, almost 25 years later, I mean, still is the largest selling SUV in the world. Why? Because it is designed and built in India. So for me, when we start saying we have to import electronics, I mean, I wonder why. So that is one part. Second is when it comes to mobile phones, we consume maybe 100 million phones. But no matter what we may claim, still the phone is 50% imported. The reason it is imported is that the 2 or 3 companies own the chipset. We don't have a semiconductor industry. And there's only one company that is giving us a operating system, and it is not Indian. So yes, we are manufacturing, and India has done incredibly well in manufacturing. But where is that? Do we have a smartphone, Danish? Does everybody have a smartphone? We are still one of the biggest markets of feature phone. How will we provide digital education on a feature phone? How will we provide digital health on a feature phone? So when you start looking at these use cases, you realize that we have to bring the smartphone to less than 5,000 rupees. Today, it is at 10,000 rupees. And many of them will require government initiatives. And I'm not saying government is not talking about it. As I told you that Atmanirbhar is one of the best clarion calls that India could have ever had, but now it has to convert into an action. So many areas, but we in private sector also have to contribute. We cannot keep looking only at government. So I am convinced cross-sector prioritization, cross-sector digitalization, India looking at value adds, we will be able to create a very powerful India, very self-reliant India.
With a lot of initiatives by the Indian government, a lot of schemes, and a lot of push on becoming Atmanirbhar Bharat. And we also have taken steps in the direction of 5G, developing our own solutions now. Do you think that in coming months and quarters, we are going to assume as a country a larger role in terms of global scheme of affairs, in terms of not just importing technology, rather exporting technology back to the Western world? Do you think that happening?
You know, the waters are choppy. We would need some of us to get together to make a stronger boat. We will have to use the oars of speed, oars of skill. We spoke about skill a little while ago, agility, digital services, and a mindset to dream and change. So I'll give you an example. I was visiting China about 6 months or 8 months ago now. And we were talking about the potential to create a new townships and new industries. This example of Shenzhen was being discussed. And I was talking about the new international airport called Jewar coming up. And, you know, the friend of mine who is an Indian, he told me, sir, Jewar is coming up. What is the economic activity that is being planned around Jewar? And I said, why are you asking this question? He said, Hong Kong and Shenzhen are literally next door. A Shenzhen was built around the economic activity. Now, Indian UP government and India will have to demonstrate whether they are going to make it a digital city, electronic city, toy city, furniture city, or make it the biggest mall in the world, but without economic activity. Just to assume, because I have a Vrindavan next door or an Agra next door, I don't think it is a good city design. So my request is all of us need to use the collaborative wisdom to make India self-reliant, and many of these is an early dialogue. I just took an example of Jewar. There are many more dialogues that need to happen, whether they are in science and technology, whether they are for us to become a technological powerhouse in the developed world. The potential exists. We have to dream together.
Right, sir. Any last comment, sir? Any aspect which I may have missed while asking, or maybe you could now highlight when it comes to the digital transformation for enterprises or the digital society vision of the country?
You know, personally, I am a huge fan of South Korea. At one point of time where their economy was in 60 and where their economy is now. How they've climbed up with huge determination up the technology ladder, how they created and defined the value chain in electronic goods, consumer durables, even automobiles, microprocessors, heavy machinery. I think for certain parts we need to emulate different people. There is nothing wrong in being able to emulate. So I would consider emulate South Africa, South Korea for just the goods that I told you. I would think emulate Israel on becoming Atmanirbhar in defense. Remember, it was a sand which was given to them. Today, they have the best practices in water management. They are the largest exporter of defense and cyber security. They are a lesson in agriculture. I would like to emulate Israel. If you were to ask me, what do I need to do to become a country with advanced technologies and also being able to serve every human being on the planet India, I think we need to learn from 3 or 4 people. India is a vast country. We cannot be practicing one model alone. We'll have to practice a few models. And I think we have proven it when we want to implement something, whether it was an Aadhaar or whether it was Jan Dhan, when we want to implement something, we are able to do it. So opportunity is right here. Let's make it happen.
Sure, sir. I think, sir, on this note, let's conclude this. I think you have touched upon various things and raised some pertinent topics as well, questions as well. And on the note of becoming Atmanirbhar, we hope that we take all the right steps and become truly Atmanirbhar in every sense.
The Indian automotive landscape has certainly evolved dramatically. With that, thank you for those insights, and do browse our agenda, ladies and gentlemen. We have an incredibly exciting lineup ahead, and thank you for joining us once again.